So, I was sitting by the water today and I was just kind of thinking about my life and like what I'm gonna do with it. And I don't know, just sitting by the water kind of clarifies my thoughts sometimes. I was just thinking about what I really, really want to do with my life. Like, you saw my goals before, like, yes, I want to make money, yes, I want to make a difference, and I want to support my family, and I want to do all these things, but what do I really want to do? And I got to thinking, like, I started thinking about what my passions are, right? Trying to, like, see what my passions are and see what I can do with that. And I realized when I was, like, listing them out in my head, when I was thinking about what my passions are, I was like, yeah, those are my passions. But on some of them, I kind of felt weird to say it was my passion. Like, it didn't feel like the word passion matched to that activity or to that word. Um, and then I thought, wow, like, I know what's wrong now. Like, I know why it's been so hard, why it's always been so hard to identify my passions. Um, and the reason being is because I never really discerned the difference between my passions and what I was good at. And that is what I realized today that just made me completely look at my life differently. Like, for example, I'm I usually okay, so I would usually would say if somebody asked me my passions, I would say, well, I love nature, I love animals, I love psychology, I love understanding human behavior. So that's still psychology. Um, these are the things that I love to do. I love I love going fast, like roller coasters, cars, motorcycles. I love all that, right? I love sitting by the ocean, right? And I love like helping the ecosystem. And those are the things I typically would say. But then I realized I started filtering it out, um, the difference between my passions and what I was good at, and then that list just like separated in two. So an example would be okay. So before I would say I love psychology, I love understanding human behavior, but that's not something that I love to do. That's something that I'm good at. I'm good at understanding psychology, and I'm good at understanding human behavior and applying it to everyday life and finding the root or finding the cause of why people do things and getting to the root. I'm good at that. And it's interesting to me, but it's not a passion. So I may like psychology and I may be good at it, but if I were to choose that as my field of work and dedicate my life to it, down the road, I wouldn't be happy because it wouldn't fulfill my passions to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist or anything that has to do with that matter. Like, it would be interesting. I'd expand my knowledge along the way. I'm sure I'd have some life-changing experiences, but it wouldn't be fulfilling. Like, I would never get to that level of self-fulfillment by following that path in life. Um, as opposed to I love animals and taking care of the ecosystem. And that's a passion. That's the passion I've had since I was a kid. And that was like it just clicked with me through just doing everyday things with my mom, my dad, my grandpa, like my uncles, just the way that the people surrounding me, like their outlooks on life really influenced my outlook on life. And I don't completely agree with any single one of them, but I take each of them with a grain of salt and apply it to my own little mix and my own worldview. And the product of that was me like really loving animals, really loving the ecosystem and nature, and taking care of Mother Nature and Mother Earth. Like, that's something that I'm deeply rooted about. Like, you ask any of my friends, when I had a car, like, if they would litter out of my car, like, I'd be so upset because it's just something, and they would never understand. They're just like, you know, and it's funny, it's gonna be funny when they watch this, but they're just like, oh, it's already dirty. They're basically saying it's already dirty, so this is not gonna make a difference. And my view on life is like, no, like, you don't calm a fire down by ignoring it and throwing gasoline in it. Like, even if you throw one drop of gasoline in it, you're still slowly igniting the fire. It's better to throw one drop of water than one drop of gasoline, because even though it's a very, very small difference, it's still a difference. And if everybody throws one drop of water, the chances of the fire going out is more likely. If everybody's throwing a drop of gasoline, you're gonna end up throwing a gallon of gasoline on it by the end of the day. So, like, that was my thing with littering. Just because, like, the things that we do now always cycle. Like, you don't just do something and that's the end of the action right there. That's not the way the universe works. That's not the way the world works. Even though you might not see the direct impact, everything has an impact. Every step you take, every word you speak, every action has an impact later down the line. But I digress. So, the point is, if I were to go down a path in life that served those values of taking care of the ecosystem and interacting with animals and doing all of those things, then I would be more fulfilled. And I think I told you guys in an earlier video, like, when I was a kid, like, all I wanted to be was a veterinarian, because in my mind growing up, like, that's the only way you get to. I either wanted to be a zookeeper or a veterinarian, because that to me was like the only way I could interact with animals every day and get paid. But as I grew older, I realized zookeepers basically don't make money. They make so little money, like, I cannot live off of a zookeeper salary. Not to live the life that I want to live. And veterinarians have a very difficult job to do. They really have to go through emotional conflict when they're doing their job every day. They either have to go through it or detach from it, and either way just seems like a very unhealthy position to put yourself in every day for possibly 50, 60 years of your life. Like, that's not a position I want to put myself in. And I experienced it firsthand when I interned at an animal hospital for a year. And they were all great people, but I saw the ripples that the job caused. So my thought process was like, wow, there's nothing I can do that involves working with animals and helping the environment every day that's gonna pay me the amount of money that I desire to really, like, live my life to the fullest. So that was a conflict I had. But then I just realized it's like today though. Like, we live in the 21st century. Like, my role model is Tarzan. not the movie character, the real Tarzan. He basically works as a zookeeper, I believe, but he travels around the world just like but taking care of animals. Works at the Zoological Wildlife Foundation here in Miami, if I'm not mistaken. And his advantage is that he I'm trying to find him on Instagram right now. He has his personality and his interactions with animals, just him documenting it, gained him an audience of over 800,000 followers. And we all know that once you have an audience, it's easy to get media deals. It's easy to make money and monetize. It's easy to monetize your social media or any type of audience that you have on or off social media. And then I got to thinking, like, wow, Cody, you're really dumb, because this isn't anything new. Like, there's Bear Grylls, Steve Irwin, like, there are these people that have been doing this for the longest. And that's a path that I could have taken that I just never thought about. So now the question is, what do I do to fulfill my passions, and what direction do I take in life?